Hi, I'm Brooklyn Mogler, and I am here to talk to you a little bit about Tony diterlizzi. He is an American author and illustrator. I researched his illustrations because that's more what he's known for. He's helped out with writing a total of 7 or 8 books, and 5 of them were the Spiderwick Chronicles. Um, but a little background about him: he was born on September 6, 1969, in Los Angeles, California. He was born into a very artistic family. His mom loved art, and that's kind of where he got started with that. He, however, didn't live in California very long. He ended up moving to South Florida, which is where he spent just about most of his life. He ended up going to college there. He went to the Florida School of Arts, and then he ended up graduating from the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale in 1992 with his degree in graphic design. He was heavily influenced by a variety of artists. Kind of surprising. He loved Dr. Seuss, but then he also loved Leonardo da Vinci. So those are two totally different styles of art, but he was influenced by both, and you can kind of see that in his books that he did. His favorite genre is fantasy. Just about all of them are fantasy books. He's done, like I said, the Spiderwick Chronicles. He's done a Star Wars book. And then the book that I'm going to read is The Spider and the Fly. And these are all fantasy, and he just loves that. But yeah, he helped write the Spiderwick Chronicles, actually. He didn't just do the illustrations. He helped the author with the writing of that. And those were very popular. Those are, like people say, the Harry Potter for the young readers. So those were huge. I remember when I was in elementary school, people were reading those all the time. I never did, but that's okay. And he did, the only award that he's received is the Caldecott, words are hard, Caldecott Honor, which he actually received for The Spider and the Fly, which is the book that I'm reading today. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading that, which is written by Mary Howitt. And it's actually not like a children's literature book. It is a poem that kind of turned children's literature through Tony's illustrations. And this is one of my favorite books from when I was a child. Okay. "Will you walk into my parlor?" said the spider to the fly. "'Tis the prettiest little parlor that ever you did spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many curious things to show you when you are there." "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "to ask me is in vain, for who goes up your winding stair can never come down again." "I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed?" said the spider to the fly. "There are pretty curtains drawn around, the sheets are fine and thin, and if you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in." "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "for I've often heard it said, they never wake again who sleep upon your bed." Said the cunning spider to the little fly, "Dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm affection I've always felt for you? I have within my pantry good store of all that's nice. I'm sure you're very welcome. Will you please to take a slice?" "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "kind sir, that cannot be. I've heard what's in your pantry, and I do not wish to see." "Sweet creature," said the spider, "you're witty and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I have a little looking glass upon my parlor shelf. If you'd step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself." "I thank you, gentle sir," she said, "for what you're pleased to say, and bidding you good morning now, I'll call another day. The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon come back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly, and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Then he came out to his door again, and merrily did sing, "Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with the pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead." Alas, alas, how very soon this silly little fly, hearing his willy flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, then nearer and nearer drew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes in green and purple hue, thinking only of her crested head. Poor foolish thing, at last up jumped the cunning spider and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair into his dismal den, within his little parlor, but she never came out again. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words, I pray you never give heed. And then at the very end, there's just a little note that's from the spider. And it says, "Dear sweet creatures, no doubt you finished our delicious tale and are surprised by this little tragedy. But then again, what did you expect from a story about a spider and a fly? Happily ever after? Spiders are trappers, for goodness sakes. We've been doing it for generations and we're quite good at. Even your beloved Charlotte in E.B. White's classic Charlotte's Web admitted as much. But alas, the poor dear never capitalized on her fortune. Now, if I were in her shoes, I would be eating bacon. With the wealth of knowledge about spiders and our crafty carnivorous ways, you'd think my web would be empty, but not a day passes without a hapless bug or two stopping by. What's a spider to do? To be completely fair, my most recent dinner guest put up a commendable fight, but I am a talented and persistent hunter with many schemes up my sleeves. And as you can see, I always get my bug. So what does all this talk of spiders and traps have to do with you? Be warned, little dears, and know that spiders are not the only hunters and bugs are not the only victims. Take what has transpired within these pages to heart, or you might well find yourself trapped in some schemer's web." And there's a little spider again. Okay, and then I thought, especially with Halloween coming up, it would be fun to just have the kids write their own poem, and it could be any sort of poem, like a haiku or just a simple rhyming poem. And then draw a picture, and it has to be Halloween related, and then draw a picture with what it is, and it would be in black and white, similar to the drawings that Tony diterlizzi did in the book. So this was mine. I just went ahead and wrote the spider and the fly poem. So I did a little spider web with the little spider. And then I wrote the poem on the side. And it's just something that you could hang up, or even you could cut out, like if they did pumpkins or ghosts, you could cut it out, put the poem on the back of the drawing that they did, and then hang it up. Whatever works. But yeah, so that's all I have. Thanks for listening.